Allison here on the Oh So Sensitive channel, and today I am going to be talking about my top 5 designer perfumes for life. So you've probably seen this tag going around. It's usually explained as the top 10 or titled as the top 10. I'm going to stick to top 5 just to keep it simple and sincere. I was inspired by watching the Simple Chic Life, I think, and she made hers top 5 instead of top 10 because she explained that she wanted it to not be a list that she started kind of like forcing herself as far as like trying to meet the expectations of coming up with 10 perfumes for life. Because there may be 10 perfumes that you genuinely love, but which ones are the ones that you sincerely have a feeling of, this will be in my collection for life. If you're interested in seeing the 5 designer perfumes that I feel compelled to have in my collection for life, then please stay tuned. So starting at number 5, we have Gucci Bloom. Gucci Bloom was the very first designer perfume that I ever owned. It has a lot of sentimental value for me because of that. Also because this was gifted to me by my sister. When she realized how much I liked Gucci Bloom, as far as how often I was talking about it and how much I was saying I wanted to own it one day, she decided to go ahead and get it for me, and I am extremely grateful for her doing that. So this perfume plays into one of my typical loves when it comes to perfume, and that's white florals, particularly tuberose. This perfume is considered a floral. The rest of the perfumes in today's video will be oriental florals, so I have a type. I have a consistent lean when it comes to perfumes that I love. When it comes to perfumes that are floral, I tend to love white florals, yellow florals, or a mixture of the two. And this is kind of my perfect white floral. The most perfect white floral I ever had in my collection was Velvet Tuberose from Bath & Body Works, but they discontinued that perfume. But this replaces that for me. The major difference between Gucci Bloom and most of your tuberose perfumes is that in this one you do smell more of the green elements. So usually in my tuberose perfumes that I love, I smell that waxy or creamy, sweet white floral element. In Gucci Bloom, I also feel like I'm smelling more of that stem scent or kind of a green, planty, vegetal scent. For some people that might be unpleasant, but when I wear this with 1 in a Million body lotion by Bath & Body Works, it enhances more of that creamy white floral smell and kind of calms down that green vegetal smell. Even then, if I don't layer it with that, I can still appreciate that vegetal smell. In the back of my mind, I know that that's a scent that other people will not like. It can affect me to know that I'm wearing something that other people don't like. Whenever I've worn this just by itself, it seems like people are a bit bothered by that vegetal green smell. So that's why I usually wear it layered on top of 1 in a Million body cream by Bath & Body Works. The notes in this from memory are jasmine, tuberose, and Rangoon Creeper. There may be some other notes, but those are the notes I remember. So this really is a quintessential white floral. At every level, it's a white floral pretty much. If not white floral, then still floral. The base Rangoon Creeper, that's probably not a white floral if I recall correctly, but the rest of this perfume is pretty much a big, bloomy white floral. As far as the lasting power, this one on its own for a lot of people will probably last no more than 4 hours. If you layer it the way I layer it, it'll probably last 6 to 8 hours. Another way to make this last longer is to overspray, but I can tell you from experience, this is a perfume that will give you a headache if you overspray. If you tend to get headaches from heavy floral perfumes, this is not the one to overspray. At number 4, we have the first oriental floral that I'll be mentioning. This is Alien Fusion by Mugler. This perfume helped to open up my appreciation for the Alien line. The first time I smelled Alien in Dillard's or Belk, whichever one, I can't remember which one I smelled it at, I was kind of like, what's the big deal? Why does everybody love this? This is kind of stinky. So Alien on its own, the original Alien, to me, my nose picks up a bit of a stank smell. Kind of like a BO or a sweaty smell. But I think that's what makes it appealing to a lot of people. It can have a very sensual, sexual smell. But that's also what can kind of make it a turn off, because not everybody's going for that raw sexual smell. And I feel like Alien can go there. It can give you kind of that raw sexual smell. But Alien Fusion, it doesn't have as much of that sweaty potential as far as the smell. This one is fresher, brighter, more feminine, more ladylike. In this one, the reason I love this one so much is it's so, I don't want to use the word typical, but typical for me as far as what I love. This one has orange blossom, it has jasmine, no, I think it has orange blossom and tuberose, and then it also has ginger and cinnamon, and I can't remember the base. But that combination is so zesty, not quite fizzy, but pretty and feminine, and I just really, really, really love the way it smells. If I went by smell alone, this would be higher up on the list, but I'm going by smell, performance, and lasting power. So as far as lasting power on this and performance, this actually, most of the time, if you just wear it on its own, sticks close to the skin, and it can last about 4 hours at the most. But I layer this on top of the Alien body lotion. So when I layer it on top of the Alien body lotion, it adds a little bit of that kind of stank back to it, but not really, not so much that I really pick up on it. And when I layer it with that body cream, it makes this last much longer, and it makes it really project. Whenever I've worn that combination, I've pretty much scented up the whole room. Alien by itself has a reputation for being quite beastly and monstrous in its performance. The reformulation may not be the same, but when I layered the body cream with Alien Fusion, the performance is really nice. But I have it lowered in the ranking because I have to play with it. I have to tweak it to get it to perform. Now I will say that just because the perfume is close to number one doesn't mean that the performance is amazing. It definitely means that the smell is so beautiful for me that I don't really judge it for not performing as well. That's just a bit of a spoiler. And number 3, we have Vie Est Belle L'eclat. And this one for me, such a beautiful feminine smell. I tend to love beautiful ultra feminine perfumes. But this one is similar to Alien Fusion in that I like the flanker better than I like the pillar. So the pillar for this obviously is Vie Est Belle, the original Vie Est Belle. But the original Vie Est Belle has notes like patchouli, iris, praline, I think hazelnut is in there, maybe vanilla, I can't remember for sure if vanilla is in there. But it has a lot of notes that are usually used to make a perfume really intense and big and powerful. But it has all of those notes together. I think it has white flowers in it as well. So Vie Est Belle on its own, with all of those big, bold, audacious notes, the performance is monstrous. You spray one spray that really can do the job for you. You don't have to, by any means, overspray, double spray, triple spray, none of that with Vie Est Belle. But it sticks to your clothes, it becomes a part of your skin. I have a theory that if ever you've worn Vie Est Belle at least 2 or 3 times, it's now in your DNA. Even if you stopped wearing it, it's in your DNA somewhere. It's just somewhere in there. If they ever exhume your body after you die, someone's gonna go, she wore Vie Est Belle. That's how I feel about Vie Est Belle. So honestly, that's too much for me. But this has a little bit of that Vie Est Belle essence, but it's not so heavy, it's not so big, it's not so powerful. And for me, this is perfect. This is easier to wear year round, which I do. I wear this year round, but I tend to wear it more in the fall and the winter because it still has pretty big performance. I think with this, I do maybe no more than 3 sprays, and it still can scent the room. I still get compliments on it. I wore this last week. I left the room that I was in, the office I was in. I left my office suite, and I came back in, and I was like, it smells like me in here. That's how much of an impact this perfume and the whole Vie Est Belle line most of the time. That's how much of an impact it can make. It can just take up a room, and it can just make its presence known for quite a while. Even though I think the smell is beautiful and perfect, it's not the scent that I think of as my favorite scent. The top 2 scents are basically the 2 scents that tied pretty much as my favorite scents. But the tiebreaker was basically because of performance and lasting power. So let's get into it. So at number 2, we have Prada La Femme Intense. So Prada La Femme Intense, another oriental floral. But this is a white floral mixed with yellow florals, and the base has some of those typical notes that are usually in the base of perfumes that I love. This one in the base has vetiver, it has patchouli, and I think it also has vanilla. Usually that type of base in perfume guarantees that it's going to last a really long time. It also has iris. It usually guarantees that it lasts a really long time. This one doesn't last a long time on me on its own. This is another one that I have to tweak. I usually layer it on top of patchouli oil, or I combine it with my decant of white patchouli by Tom Ford. I don't have a full bottle. Or my decant of prime patchouli by Be Layered. When I layer it with those perfumes, the performance and the sillage improves, but it works the best, honestly, when I layer it with patchouli oil. I'm looking to find some type of body oil or lotion that I can layer it with that enhances more than just the patchouli. And I found a lotion that I think would work well, but it's been discontinued. It is Passion from the aromatherapy line by Bath and Body Works, but just when I realized I needed that in my collection, Bath and Body Works was like, psych, you can't buy it. We got rid of it. I've been seeing it on Mercari, and I just haven't bit the bullet on buying someone's bottle or container of it. If I could get my hands on Passion by Bath and Body Works, I would, because the keynotes in that are tuberose and ylang ylang. And that's what I love about this perfume. I love the combination of tuberose and ylang ylang. I recently discovered that I love that combination. I'm even smelling the back of my hand because I sprayed another perfume, not this one, but I sprayed 2 perfumes. One has tuberose, one has ylang ylang, to see how those work together, and they work wonderfully. I'm going to wear that combination one day. But the only thing, of course, is that this one doesn't last that long. When I layer it on top of patchouli oil, it lasts about 6 hours. But after 3 or 4 hours of wearing it, it's pretty much close to the skin. But I still had to make this number 2 because it is my favorite scent in my entire collection. In the top, I think it has Frangipani and ylang ylang. In the middle, I think it has Jasmine Sambac, Tuberose, and Orange Blossom. I already told you what the base has. But that middle, Tuberose, Jasmine Sambac, Orange Blossom, that heart of white florals, that bouquet of white flowers, is just one of my favorite combinations. It's also going to be featured in my number 1. But to amp it up even more with yellow florals in the top just makes this perfume delightful for me. I think of this perfume as feminine, womanly, grown, mature. I don't think a young girl would like this as much. The type of young lady who loves pink sugar probably wouldn't like this. I'm cool with pink sugar. I've worn pink sugar, but in no way is it in my top 5. Probably not even in my top 10. I mainly stick to it because of the performance and the lasting power. But this one is definitely my #1 scent of all time so far, and it would be my #1 perfume if it performed better. And last but not least, we have L'Interdit by Givenchy. So this one has the same heart composition: jasmine, sandalwood, tuberose, and orange blossom. And even the base of this is quite similar to the base of Prada La Femme Intense. I think it has vetiver and broxane. It doesn't have iris, but I think it has patchouli. This one was described as a dark buried floral, or basically white florals buried in darkness. And I definitely can pick that up. Whew. But at the top of this, you have pear and bergamot. So the pear and the bergamot at the top of this make this one zesty. It makes it zesty and almost spicy. And by this point, you probably have caught on that I love me some zest, I love me some spiciness, but I love me some sweetness, and I love me some florals. Florals are such a traditionally feminine smell, and for a lot of people, because of that traditional feminine smell, for them it's outdated, but I love it. I love my traditional feminine scents. I love smelling like a quintessential sophisticated woman, and that's how I feel when I smell like perfumes like this, or when I wear perfumes like this. This one, the lasting power, great on its own. The performance is great on its own. This one is one that you don't need to overspray. If you overspray it, you may hurt someone. You may really hurt someone. You could cause headaches. You could cause coughing fits, sneezing fits. But if you want to enhance this one, I suggest you do what I do, which is to buy the gift set. So I bought the gift set because it comes with this perfume, but it also came with the body lotion. In hindsight, I kind of wish I had just bought the perfume and the body lotion together, because I think the body lotion actually comes in a bigger container than what came with my gift set. But this smells rich. It smells like a rich woman, and it smells like a confident woman. Generally speaking, I love my perfumes that make me feel confident and adult and mature. So that's what kind of brings together my top two. They definitely feel adult and mature. I'm also going to wear L'Interdit more often as my evening perfume if I go to special occasions or special events. Okay, so that concludes my top 5 designer perfumes for life. Most of the people who record this video do add the disclaimer that it could change. It could change for me. It could change if ever I replace Gucci Bloom with Gucci Bloom Profumo di Fiori. That's the other reason Gucci Bloom was at the bottom, because when I run out of this, I will either replace it with Gucci Bloom or one of its flankers. But that's because all of the flankers smell really similar. It's kind of hard to differentiate, in my opinion, between the flankers and the pillar. But Profumo di Fiori might be the one that I replace it with because it has ylang ylang. And I love that ylang ylang combination with white flowers. Okay, if you have any other suggestions for me or requests, then let me know in the comments. If you have your top 5 and you want to share it with me, feel free. Or you can just share with me what's your typical perfume that you buy. My typical perfumes are white florals mixed with yellow florals. But what's your typical combination? Do you like white florals? Do you hate white florals? Or are you more of a fruity type of perfume girl? Or are you more of a gourmand type of girl when it comes to perfumes that you find yourself frequently purchasing? Alrighty, thanks for watching.